Well, this is an odd duck, isn't it? It's the Compaq Ipaq, not to be confused with the PDA of the same name. It's a small desktop computer and more of an internet appliance, released around the year 2000, designed mostly to sit on desktop cubicles or teller windows, things like that. It's upgradable within limitations, and I'm going to take you through a few of the easy steps. First thing you'll do, you want to lay it on its side, so let's eject this, they call it a multi-bay. You can get upgrades for this, by the way, but they're kind of expensive. If you really want to burn discs with this computer, it might be easier just to get a USB external burner. So you push this little button right here, and this pops out. Set it aside. Then we take off this cover. This is the only one you'll be using, really. You can see where it's ribbed right here. Just press down on that and then work the cover off. Now you take off this kind of useless metal cover or flange. I don't know why they put this in here. Comes off the top and then works out the sides. And the memory is underneath here. The hard drive, it came with a 10 gigabyte hard drive. I replaced it with an 80 gigabyte hard drive. All you really need to do is take off the connectors, and then there's 3 or 4 screws here on the side. Okay, here it is with the covers off. You can see the memory slot right here. See if that will zoom in. It came with 128 megabytes of PC 100, and it's upgradable only to 512. There's a limitation in the BIOS that pegs the upper limit at 512 megabytes. For that reason, I'd be careful about upgrading the CPU. If you want to upgrade the CPU, it's a socket 370, and you take these screws off here and get everything unbuttoned. And you can find processors cheap on eBay, but you're limited to, if you read the tech manual, and I'll provide links for that in a bit. If you read the tech manual, you're limited to about 1 gigahertz for these processors. It will only draw, you can only accept CPUs that draw about 18 amps or so of power. Other than that, it's going to ruin the board. And you wouldn't want to do too much upgrading anyway, because since you're only limited to 512 megabytes, you just be pushing stuff at the swap file with more power, that's all. And what else? Easy enough to get to. If you get, it's ATA 100, like I mentioned. ATA 133 is backwards compatible, so if you find a deal with either of them, a good price, just go with that. Same thing with a hard drive. It's ATA 100, but if you find a deal like this one, I believe is ATA 133. It's backwards compatible as well. Just go with that. Just go with the good deal. The buildup is just the opposite of the tear down. No special precautions required. As far as the operating system goes, I put Linux Mint on here, and it works, but it's slow and sluggish. I'm not an expert on distros. I understand that there are several made just for slower, older machines. I personally think that Windows XP would be the best fit. If you go to the Wikipedia article on the Compaq Ipaq, you'll see a link to the HP page with Windows drivers. And that's it for this upgrade.